list. Wow.
Okay, hello viewers on Twitch and or
Hello,
YouTube.
viewers on Twitch and YouTube.
Caleb.
Hello, viewers on Twitch and or YouTube.
Hello, viewers
Welcome
on
to the
YouTube
Hello,
and
viewers.
Twitch.
Do that. Well, guys, we're not living up to the name already. Welcome to the new series that we're going to start doing called Civilized Discussion, where we play Civ 5 and discuss very important and or non-important whatsoever things together. So, for this first one, we will be discussing The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2.
Cheater.
You know, if I just mute Twitch, I can see who you were.
It's true. You could.
And please excuse them. So there is a spoiler alert, but we hope you enjoy it. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about it and yelling at each other. So, yes, let's go.
Interesting. That is a decent starting spot.
What was that for? Okay, AJ, you're the discussion master.
Yes, I am. Alright, give me a second here. Alright, so, as Chris mentioned, we are going to be discussing The Mandalorian. So what I've set up for us today is we're going to go through Season 1 a little faster than Season 2, just because Season 1 was a little ways back and most people don't actually remember too much about it. So the first 2 episodes was called The Mandalorian and the Child, and it introduced us to Din the Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, Grief, who is the guild leader, and Kuel, who's the guy who's like, I have spoken, and IG-11. It was also the episodes with the Mudhorn, and we got to see Baby Yoda use the Force when fighting it. So, starting it off, let's have Anthony tell us what you thought about The Mandalorian from the first couple episodes.
Well, I think my first impression going into the show was like pretty much like I'm sure a lot of people had the same one. Is this Boba Fett? Yeah. But obviously that's clarified very quickly in the episode. So
Did we ever find out, like, when did we find out his name?
I actually don't remember.
We don't know his name, he's still just the Mandalorian.
Call him Mando.
Yeah, they called him Mando, but then for some reason I've been seeing people calling him Din. Like, even Wikipedia,
Din?
yeah, even Wikipedia has given him a name.
Oh.
I thought that was the other show that they're doing. Hold up.
Anyways, as I was continuing,
carry on.
So yeah, you know, it starts off. It's just a pretty kick-ass show, and things are going on, and you know he shows up to the village, and IG-88 shows up and just absolutely wrecks everyone, and you know that was pretty cool. Everybody can agree with that, and then all of a sudden, you know, oh here's the thing we're after. And here it opens, it's Baby Yoda, and for me that absolutely blew my mind.
Look at the score.
Because
it would say
George Lucas has always been very, very secretive about Yoda and his origins. So it was really cool to see that. You know, I didn't expect they were going to go too much into the species of Yoda, or whatever his species is called, but you know, just the fact to see another being like him was pretty cool.
Now,
well, just to point out, there was another Yoda being in the prequels.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think they wrote her out of the canon.
You can't. She's in the movie.
Like,
you can't write her out of the canon.
Because she was never in the Clone Wars, so I don't think she exists anymore.
She's in the movie, The Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know, but they got rid of her character because they realized that wasn't a good idea. I don't know. That's what I think, but there could be nerd arguments about that.
Now, I have to stop you, Anthony, because, Chris, why does it look like there's only 4 players in this game?
I was noticing that. I don't know unless it reset itself.
Chris, you mess up.
Because I think if you leave
Possibly.
them open, then it's for people to join online.
Oh yeah,
but
you have to set
change it
off.
to AI.
You're
So we
right.
have to exit out and restart.
Ah,
This is a very common occurrence when we play.
this is. I suck at setting up games.
This is.
Alright, so exiting out.
No.
But anyways, yeah, that was pretty
I
cool.
love-
Like everybody knew that Baby Yoda was gonna probably do some sort of force thing. So the question is, does his species just all be able to use the force? Like I know we've only seen 2 of them, but both of them have been, pretty
Three.
masterful Jedi.
3 of them.
Okay, shut up. Anyways,
Caleb,
point
hurry
is-
up and get into the game.
the point is they're still all Jedi. So it's like, does the entire species have the ability to control the force, or?
It's possible. I mean, the Sith did. The actual Sith species did.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
So maybe
Caleb.
they're the Jedi equivalent of the Sith species.
Could be. That's very true.
Instead
So
of tall and red,
I
they're
don't
short
think
and
there were-
green.
I don't think there's anything else to say for those 2 episodes.
Kylo.
Again, I don't remember much, so I don't have much to say.
That's fine. We're going through the first season a little quicker than we'll go through season 2. We're just waiting on Caleb to join the freaking game
Join.
so we can get started.
So, okay, talking about these first 2 episodes, if I can jump in here now.
Go for it, Chris.
To be honest, I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what to expect from it. So the fact that it came out, especially in the first 2 episodes, to be very much like a space western
Yeah.
was a little jarring, to be honest. I wasn't a huge fan. But they did a good job. I did like how they... Well, I guess that's the whole first season, so I'll wait to say that. But once you got used to it, it was actually a very interesting way of doing it, for sure. And they had interesting characters even right from the start there.
That's
So
true.
I did appreciate it, but it took a little while to get used to.
Yeah, I was not a fan the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Going back and watching them though, where knowing what you're getting into makes them a lot better.
Daniel, would you like to share your 2 cents on the first couple episodes?
Well, you see, I thought the music was pretty dope.
I agree with that.
See, the music was actually something what turned me off at the beginning.
Then I also thought that the idea allowed for quite a variety of things to happen in the show. So I was pretty excited for the potential that it brought to the plate. And then
Sorry.
each episode started off a little slowly, and by the end you're like, oh, it's actually a good episode. So, it kind of eases you into every episode, and I was like, you know what, this is good. I can watch this. And
This
I
is
did,
going to be
and I
interesting.
enjoyed it.
I am someone I've never been before, and I've always avoided on purpose. So
I will say that for me, the first 2 episodes, what was important and what got me coming back, because I've never really been a massive fan of Star Wars, I've just watched them. What got me coming back was the creature design in the first 2 episodes. So in the first episode, he's like going across like that ice lake, and like that massive like ice serpent or sea serpent.
Yeah, that
comes
was
out.
sick.
That was a cool creature design, and I was completely for it. I was like, all right,
Star Wars has some very cool creatures.
I'll watch the next episode, and then in the next episode they had the Mudhorn, and I was like, yes. Now I do have to say the reveal of Baby Yoda also convinced me to watch episode 2, and then just seeing like the progression of how the Mandalorian would react to Baby Yoda and the various quirks that they gave him made me think, okay, maybe I'll stick to it for a few episodes, even if the next one isn't very good. But it was definitely like the creature designs. That was what had me like just hooked.
Yeah, I agree. I was holding off to say that just like as the whole season because it wasn't just the first couple episodes. It was, I feel like every creature they put in, even if it's in there for 5 seconds, is very well designed, a lot of fun to look at and see how they interact with the world. And let's be honest, Baby Yoda was the star of the show from the start. As soon as he showed up, sorry,
I know-
Mando, you're taking a back seat.
I know you guys disagree with me, but it's actually true. I looked it up. They actually didn't have Baby Yoda merchandise at first until they actually, for whatever reason, didn't realize he was going to be as popular as what he was. So that's why it took such a long time for them to come out with like Funko Pops and everything of him.
Well, that's
Well, I think it was
interesting.
also supposed to be a big reveal, right? Like they don't
That could
want
be
it.
true.
They don't want
Yeah,
it
but
being leaked.
It was still like 4 months after like he was revealed, so it just seemed to take a very long time
Yeah,
before
so
they
it
came out
wasn't
with
like they
merchandise.
were designed and they were just holding back on it
Yeah,
until it was released. It's more like, oh shoot,
it seemed that way,
this is
anyways. But
blowing up. We should design toys and get contracts
anyways,
for this.
sorry to interrupt. You can continue.
All right, so the next two episodes is episode 3 and 4, The Sin and the Sanctuary. And so the basic idea is that the Mandalorian hands over Baby Yoda, but then he feels like he's done something wrong because Baby Yoda essentially saved him. And so he decides he's going to save Baby Yoda and flee to a forest planet where he's just going to live out quietly for who knows how long, really. And so in those episodes, we get to meet Cara Dune, and we also get to see the ATST attack the small little fishing village. So I guess we'll go in the same order just to kind of keep it civilized. Oh!
Hey,
Hey.
So, Anthony, talk us through those couple episodes and what you thought.
Okay, so for me, obviously, when he handed over, I was pretty sure something was gonna happen because you see a lot of regret in him doing what he's doing, and at the same time, it'd be a very short show if he didn't do anything about it. So you can kind of tell something's gonna happen. But doesn't mean there's no mystery. The mystery is always like, how's it gonna happen? But so so yeah, he does it in his normal kick butt. Take nothing, no attitude from anyone. It was good to see that the scientist guy was kind of good in a way. He's still doing the experiment, but he was still concerned about like hurting Baby Yoda too much, which is good because I think every fan would have been very upset with him if he hurt his precious little head. But anyways, uh, yeah, I can't again. I haven't seen the episode in so long, so I can't remember anything like worth noting. Like, but yeah, then he goes to the forest planet. Can I say how much I love Derek? What's her name again?
Kara?
Kara. Yeah, I love her character for several reasons. One, she's just a badass, and two, I kind of hate all I think it's always so weird where they have like these like badass women characters who are obviously very strong, but then like the actresses that play them, they do very well, but they also have like arms the size of toothpicks.
Yeah.
Like Scarlett Johansson is a good actress, but like no offense, but not I'm not a fighter whatsoever, but just the fact that I have, and sorry if this offends anyone, but men are typically stronger than women. So I don't know if she could easily beat up as many people as what some of those movies led on to believe. But anyways,
Mm.
Cara Dune, she is ripped because her actress in real life is an actual MMA fighter. So
Was
she
she
does.
MMA? I thought she was a wrestler.
No, MMA.
So
that
so
explains.
she actually does look like she could punch your teeth out. So
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want to fight her. So I actually appreciate about them casting someone like that. You know what I mean? Like casting someone that actually fits the role.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So
Oh crap! I have no luxury
never
resources.
keep promises. But uh, but anyways, I can't think there's anything else to discuss. Obviously, beating up the giant walker was pretty cool. And so yeah, that's everything I have to discuss.
All right, Chris.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the walker. So it's weird because they make this thing super BA, like super hard to take down. Right? They have to trick it to stepping in a hole and falling over and basically breaking itself. Whereas in the original movies, 2 logs squashed it like it was made of cardboard. So it was kind of weird to see this thing that's supposed to be, super BA, and yeah, they had the red lights, so it looked like it had red evil eyes.
I didn't think they had an artificial
But
intelligence. Those things. I thought they had to walk.
they
Like
were
somebody had to drive
piloted.
them.
Yeah, they had pilots.
Not that one though. That one I think had artificial intelligence. I don't think there
Are
was
you
anyone
sure?
inside.
I'm pretty sure there were pilots in there.
Yeah, I thought they were pilots, but I don't
Okay, I
remember
could
too
be
much
wrong.
about
Again, it's been a
Um,
while. So
Yeah, I know in the original movies they definitely had pilots because Chewie and Han Solo took one over and threw them off the top.
that. Yeah.
okay.
No, you're good. So that's kind of the thing I remember most about that. Again, a lot of good character development. I did like the new character, Cara Dorn.
Dune.
Dune, excuse me. And now I'm all confused because what am I doing?
You like the new character,
She was
Cara Dune?
yeah, no, she was a good character. I liked that given her history in kind of the Civil War, you kind of got to see it less as a good versus bad and more of just the overall effects of it.
Yeah.
Right, the fact that she's coming out of this with kind of PTSD, not quite to that degree, but some bad experiences and reasons why she doesn't trust the New Republic, even though she fought for it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was cool to just see it from that perspective, a more real and developed perspective. And then obviously Baby Yoda chasing down a frog and eating it whole. Or did he spit it out on that one?
Or slurping the soup. That was another good moment. People made
Or
memes
that.
out of that where they increased the slurping noise.
Oh yeah. Wonderful. Wunderbar.
Yeah, some people waste their time doing really weird things, but I'm probably not one to talk. So
You say as we're playing Civilization and talking about the Mandalorian.
it's true.
So that's really all I got for those first 2 episodes.
All right, Caleb.
I barely remember those episodes. It was a long time ago. But I did. That was when I feel like they just took post Civil War, American Civil War, and put a Star Wars skin on it.
How so?
Does nobody else get the Western vibes from it?
Well, yeah, there were Western vibes.
Well, Western, yeah.
Yeah.
But specifically the American Civil War.
Yeah.
How so?
There's like a north-south kind of feel between Republic or Rebels and Empire.
So the rebels were the Confederate States, and the Empire was the North? The Union?
As far as like what's it called? Like the North was more like disciplined, they had nicer uniforms, blah 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 blah. The Empire is more order. But
I don't know about that. More
I don't know,
order.
I think this
Darth
heavy
Vader is choking everybody.
post Civil War feel.
All right, Daniel.
Well, if I remember correctly, in that episode they also introduced the bright blue. The bright blue beverage that they like to consume in that.
The antifreeze.
Yeah, which I kind of want to drink. I don't want to drink something but a bit kind.
Please don't drink antifreeze.
It's like, yeah, it's like a mixture
Gamer
of.
fuel.
Disclaimer: do not drink antifreeze or soap.
Tide
Just throwing
Pods.
that out there. No Tide Pods.
Yeah, but that was the thing that stuck out, and then I appreciated that they actually had to use some tactics to beat something as opposed to just
Shooting
relying
until tied.
on the buffness.
Yeah, I think episode 3, him giving away Baby Yoda, it was a little difficult to believe that anything other than him getting Baby Yoda back was going to happen. I wasn't sure whether it was going to be like the very same episode, and so they surprised me that they did it like right away. But, who have I met? Caleb. But at the same time, I was glad that they got it out of the way, because in the next episode where he like flees to the forest planet, and you have like Cara Dune, who's trying to essentially escape from both sides, both the New Republic and the Empire. You get an idea of like there are lots of people that are doing this. They're trying to escape and just kind of be completely neutral. I have to say, like Anthony said, Cara Dune was definitely a good addition in my books, because she looks like she can be military. She looks like she can do real damage, and it's like, okay, I
She
can
looks like
believe she's gonna
if you
be able to beat up stormtroopers.
She looks like if you upset her, she could literally rip your tonsils out and then mail them to you.
Yeah.
Just
I
saying,
also-
stormtroopers might not be the best measuring stick for how capable someone is for beating things up. They're
I
pretty low
also
on the
I
totem.
appreciated that they kept it a secret as to what they were trying to use Baby Yoda's for, and like we knew, or at least people who picked up on the Easter egg on the Doctor's suit knew that he was a cloner, but we couldn't figure out like, okay, are they planning on getting like an army of Yodas? Like, does that really make any sense?
They nibble at your ankles.
So it was
Wait,
it
what?
was well, on his shoulder. He has a badge, which is the same badge that the cloners have in the prequels.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
I
really?
completely missed that.
Because that's interesting because he's human, right? And the
Yeah.
cloners were minions.
Yes. So that was cool. Having the ATST, I agree with you, Chris. In the originals, they show the ATST being destroyed just by like a couple logs falling down, and that then made it like, why is it so complicated for a Mandalorian who has all this cool equipment? Why wouldn't he just be able to like fly up to the hatch and do exactly what Han Solo and Chewie did, right? But
Well, he didn't have a jetpack at this point, right?
true,
Nope.
yeah. But he did have his grappling hook, so there's
True,
still the
yeah.
option. It's not like Han Solo had a jetpack. So all of that, I did also appreciate though that I did also appreciate just like the new idea that a Mandalorian can't take off his mask. I know that was something that threw people, and I didn't know very much about Mandalorians, so like them throwing that in, I thought, okay, well that's all Mandalorians, because I don't remember Boba Fett ever taking his helmet off. But then I did remember Jango Fett taking his helmet off. So there was a bit of confusion there.
Well, there was actually fans didn't know for a while if Django was even a Mandalorian because they bring it up once during the Clone Wars, because again they go to Mandalore, and I think Obi-Wan Kenobi was there, and he says some offhanded comment about Jango Fett, and they respond by saying, "Oh, he just stole that armor. He's not actually a Mandalorian."
Yeah, he was just a bounty hunter named Jango Fett.
Well, that's what they said, but again, these were political officials who would want to hide anything so that it wouldn't give their country a bad name. You know what I mean? Or planet, you know what I mean? So fans weren't entirely sure if that was true or not.
But then again, I know Chris probably has. If you played the Knights of the Old Republic,
Some-
Mandalorian, couple Mandalorians had their masks off.
But are the
Yeah,
games
well,
canon?
yeah.
I don't feel
Again,
like
they
the
play-
games are canon, are they?
Well,
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
Pretty close.
I know like almost none of the comic books are, but I'm not sure about the games.
Well, and we can. I mean, season 2, I think, answers this question somewhat.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So we can go
So
more into it in season
once
2.
we
but
get, yeah,
again,
once we get
sorry,
there,
I seem like I'm doing a lot, but sorry for interrupting again.
Well, that's alright, because we're on to episodes 5 and 6. So episode 5 was The Gunslinger, and this is where we meet Fennec, who's played by Ming Na
yeah.
Wen. And so, just a quick recap, because I couldn't actually remember too much about this episode. So the Mandalorian arrives on, I think it's Tatooine or something. Anyways, and he comes across a young guy who's part of the guild, who is supposed to be hunting him. But he also knows about Fennec, and he's like, listen, I won't report that you're here if you help me catch Fennec. And so the Mandalorian agrees, leaves Baby Yoda with the mechanic, Peli, who shows up in Season 2 as well. Leaves Baby Yoda with the mechanic, and then goes to help this guy try to get like Fennec. This is where we also see that the Mandalorian knows how to communicate with the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders.
Yes.
And
That was
then
cool.
in episode 6, it's The Prisoner. This is another one-off one, but we do meet Mayfield, who shows up in season 2 as well. And
yes.
Spoilers.
well,
There's
not
a
really.
spoiler alert for fun.
So those are the 2 episodes. The one where he goes hunting after Fennec, and then he goes to break out a Twi'lek? Is that their name?
Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Twi'lek, yes.
So that's
Twi'lek,
episode
yeah.
5 and 6. So Anthony, go ahead.
Okay, so oh yeah, Gunslinger. Okay, so yeah, seeing Agent May was pretty nice.
Yeah, from
Again,
Agents
she
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
seems
like
for
that
anyone who
one-
hasn't seen that.
Again, her actress is one that's suited for that kind of stuff because she actually knows how to do martial arts. So that's always nice to see.
Funny thing about that though is she's a shooter, like a marksman, not a martial artist.
I thought she was a martial. I thought AJ told me she was a martial artist once.
In
Well,
real
she might
life,
be. I mean, the character is
yeah,
not.
in real life she's a martial artist. In
Yeah.
the Mandalorian, she's a sharpshooter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Just
Sorry.
what I mean is, again, she's someone that can like actually look like she's suited for that life of work and line of work and stuff. But
You're not surprised to see her out on a battlefield, essentially, or in
Yeah,
a military
no,
role.
she's another one that I would not want to steal her purse. So,
Well, hopefully, you don't want to steal anyone's purse, but okay.
but anyways, yeah. So again, I can't remember. The mechanic lady is amazing. She's amazing when she shows up in season
Oh
2.
yeah, she's a good character.
She's just really hilarious. And again, like the Mandalorian's like this. He seems like this gruffy kind of like character you maybe don't want to tick off. But then there's like characters like her who just like screw with him all the time. And but he's actually, as you get to know him, you know he's not really that. He's not really a mean character. He just never talks, so he just seems like that. But
Just a big teddy bear.
anyways, but anyways, by the end of the episode, yeah, then you see the person's boots, and it's like, oh, who's that? And again, I'm sure some fans knew right away by seeing the boots. Sometimes I could be a little slower on the uptake, unless I get more of a hint than just the back of some guy's boots. But everybody's like, oh, it's Boba Fett, and they never did anything else the rest of the season with it. But I'm glad. Obviously, I'm glad they did something with it in season 2 then. So the payoff was definitely there. But anyways, yeah, I don't. Again, like AJ said, they're one-off episodes, so they're not like super important to the rest of the story in a way. You could almost cut them out, and it wouldn't necessarily affect season 1. It wouldn't affect too much in season 1.
True.
Obviously, they do connect some things, which is good. If you're gonna have one-offs, there better be some sort of connection later on in a future season, because it actually does feel like your time wasn't wasted then watching it. So I'm glad they did something in season 2 with it, and we'll get there when we get there. But again, it's always good to see the Mandalorian's character, especially when it goes to the jailbreak episode, where like he's willing to do things, but he still wants to do what's right. So, and I don't think that was something that new that happened just because Baby Yoda showed up in his life. I think he was always kind of like that, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think, being a bounty hunter doesn't necessarily mean you're evil or anything. Like, a lot of those people you hunt are actual criminals. So,
Yeah.
and I forget why he was doing it in that episode, like breaking the guy out of jail, but I'm pretty sure there was a reason that came with protecting Baby Yoda.
I believe it was for money. He
Yeah,
needed
I'm pretty sure he was
finances
just
to fix his vehicle. His
Which is probably pretty important when you're on the run. So, but in the end, he ends up killing the criminal and a bunch of other ones, and putting in jail a whole bunch of other ones, which apparently is still not good enough, because apparently the New Republic is still after him. But anyways, but yeah, again, it wasn't a pointless episode. It was nice to see some of his character that way. So, I guess is what you would call him an anti-hero, I guess. He does what's right, but maybe not necessarily in the way a hero necessarily would.
No, he's just a
Like a side
protagonist, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
An anti-hero doesn't get along with the hero. And would he get along with Luke Skywalker?
Well,
Maybe.
he did with Ahsoka.
He'd probably work with Luke Skywalker to a point. It's just he doesn't like Jedis, or at least he didn't like Jedis, right? Mandalorians don't like Jedis, so.
Well, he didn't really even know what one was.
Yeah, but traditionally Mandalorians.
Yeah, no, they hate each other, and that's But anyways, yeah, they do hate each other. That's true.
All right, Chris, your thoughts on the gunslinger and the prisoner?
Well, the like I said, or like Anthony said, most of it. The other thing I liked though is I felt like in the Gunslinger there were kind of nods to the original series, because I'm pretty sure they did a shot introducing that other like bounty hunter guy, basically in the exact same position that Han Solo was when he was in there with Greedo.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So
I
just
think,
stuff like that.
I think they made a high ground reference too. They're like, she has the high ground.
Probably.
Pretty much a meme at this point.
Yeah, not pretty
But
much. It is.
It makes a little more sense though with a sniper than it does with
Yeah.
like sword combat.
Well, kind of. I think the high ground has an effect no matter what kind of combat it is. But now I'm off track. Thanks,
Sorry. Sorry,
You're
I keep doing that.
Yeah, again, I did like kind of the duality of the Mandalorian actually like talking to the Tusken Raiders and working with them and getting permission to go through their land, as opposed to like what Anakin did, just freaked out and killed everybody.
Yeah.
That was cool to kind of see the Sand People as a people and not just mindless savages. Because right up to this point, that's basically what they've been portrayed as.
Yeah, I mean, we
Just
saw
people who
them
like sharing
in
things.
the Phantom Menace having like a bit of fun shooting at pod racers, but other than that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But even that's kind of like their fun is to mess everyone's day up and destroy everything.
Well,
Whereas
to
in
be
this
fair,
one,
I mean, the pod racing was an extremely dangerous thing, almost equivalent to like people going to a coliseum. So, who's really messed up here? The people who are cheering about like every crash, or the people who are like causing some of the crashes by shooting the people?
well, I'm not arguing that maybe it's not exactly a moral sport,
Mm.
but I mean they're still involved with making it more dangerous than it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah, I did kind of. You kind of saw him being betrayed by whatever that other bounty hunter's name, kind of a mile away. That was pretty easy to see
Yeah.
that that's what was going to happen.
Being a bounty hunter, I think you should know you shouldn't trust bounty hunters.
Yeah. The
Although
other
I
thing that's
thought
kind of
part of the code, I see. I've watched a bunch of the Star Wars nerds talking on YouTube about like these episodes, and I thought one of the codes for the guild, at least like the bounty hunting guild, is that you couldn't attack another bounty hunter. But I guess at that point it is important to remember that he's not a bounty hunter anymore, right? The Mandalorian, because
Yeah.
he's banished from the
well,
guild.
he
So never mind. I
he's not a
withdraw
member of
my
the guild,
statement.
and neither is the other guy. The other guy's trying to get into the guild, so he's not there yet
Is he? Oh, he's trying to get into the guild by getting Fennec.
by getting the bounty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not
Ah,
officially a member of the guild yet.
I
But you
see.
are right too. Mando technically gave up his guild membership when he took back the bounty.
Yep. So he actually had a bounty on his head, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another small thing, if I remember correctly, this is the first time you actually see Beskar do its thing, because I believe he actually by what's her name, and you actually see it get deflected by the armor.
Is it the first time? Does it not
I
happen in
thought
any
so.
of the other ones?
I don't remember seeing him take a direct hit, but maybe this is just the one that stands out in my mind.
Hmm.
But moving on to the next one, honestly,
Caleb?
I didn't like this one very much.
Oh, yeah.
I meant the
Sorry,
next
you're talking
episode.
about the
Sorry.
first one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did not like the jailbreak one very much, to be honest. I thought it was kind of just weird and out of character. But it was very satisfying when he put the tracking beacon on the ship and the New Republic showed up and blew that whole space station to smithereens.
Yeah.
That was satisfying. But other than that, I honestly didn't like that episode very much.
Caleb, your thoughts?
Yeah. The best car was cool. I do like the best car, but yeah, like I said, most of season one is still kind of a blur. I think my least favorite thing was the episodes, time-wise, varied. I think. Did they not?
Yeah. I mean, that's still true. I mean, sometimes you get them, they're like 40
Back to back.
minutes, and other ones are like 45, 48.
Well,
Oh,
I
that's
thought they were
funny.
like 20 as well in the first season.
I don't remember any being that short. They're all. I think they were all in the same range, same area, but it would vary a little bit. Now I could be wrong.
All right, Daniel.
Well, it was during the Gunslinger episode where I really started to hope that he would start to form a team, and I was thinking, yo, this sniper is what he needs on his team. He's gonna go get this chick and life will be good. And then he killed her, and I was like, what the frick? Screw you! And yeah.
Well, you weren't wrong in some ways.
Hey, no spoilers yet.
Yeah, no spoilers for our future spoilers. Goodness, Anthony. You're worse than frickin' Spider-Man.
Oh, jeez, we should.
Hey, that's
Spider-Man.
not true. He
Oh,
was
I
pretty bad.
got you. By Spider-Man, you mean Tom Holland, right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
who he's referring to.
Gotcha.
Yep, and then the prisoner one, I can't remember crap all of that.
Well, for me, it was difficult for these episodes because honestly, episode 5 and 6 is kind of what I expected from the Mandalorian right from the beginning, and that's what made it hard for me to actually want to watch because I didn't want to watch somebody essentially blasting through all his enemies without any problems, without having to get creative. And I feel like that's what Gunslinger and The Prisoner was all about, was essentially how good at surviving is the Mandalorian, and it's literally like, well, if anyone tries to shoot him, it sucks to be them because he's gonna survive. If anyone tries to outsmart him, sucks to be them because he knows all about like fighting and stuff like that. And yeah, at this point, I wasn't invested enough in the character of the Mandalorian to actually care, and the fact that it was season 1 and not even like the end of season 1, I was like, there's no way they're gonna like kill him. So at worst, he gets captured. So there wasn't too much emotion for me in episodes 5 and 6, and there wasn't very much Baby Yoda either. But I really liked Pelly, the mechanic. She definitely helped with episode 5 being fun. I did like the throwback to the speeders. I think they show up in episode 5. That was cool.
I mean, just the speeders they use to get around.
Yeah. Like just seeing them again.
Yeah.
I think another thing though that was just annoying was how easily it was for them to go and beat the stormtroopers in the prisoner. Like it's one thing for the Mandalorian to be able to go and
Like
just like
stormtroopers.
It wasn't stormtroopers. It was
Just the
New
New
Republic
Republic.
people.
No, they were droids, I think.
in the prisoner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, either way, like you get the feeling like I understand that mercenaries have to be like decent at their job, but the sheer ability of them to always be able to outclass their enemies is just, it was getting frustrating seeing like, oh look, all these guys are all better than every single military person on like either side, and so it was getting pretty old, and I was questioning as to whether
Yeah.
I actually was gonna keep watching The Mandalorian after season 1, because like if this is what each episode is gonna be like, I'm not really feeling it.
Well, in that fight, didn't he have to get around them? Because what I thought, and I could be wrong again, but I'm just putting up points for discussion. Basically, that whole team ran into the prison guard, which are droids, right?
Yeah.
And they started a firefight, and it was kind of back and forth. But then you realize the Mandalorian's no longer actually with them, and then he appears like he went around the droids and was now shooting them from behind.
That sounds right, but it's another case of what I was talking about, like just he's able to outsmart everyone. Like he can either take on a whole troop of stormtroopers by himself, or he can take on a
again isn't a high
masterclass
level.
sniper, or like he can do it all. And it's like, I get that he's a bounty hunter, but you gotta show him having a little more difficulty. Like his fight against the Mudhorn, that was truly a difficult test of strength. But then after that, you don't really see too much ingenuity from him. It's just sort of like a classic a 10-year-old could come up with the plan of like, well, I'm just gonna go around them. Like, come on. Computers in our day and age are able to outsmart us in a lot of things. Why are the droids so stupid in their advanced day and age?
Yeah,
That
that's
will
true.
come back. That comment will come back in season 2, I think. But anyways,
Alright, so wrapping up season 1, and Chris was right, this ended up being closer to an hour. Wrapping up season 1, we have the Reckoning and the Redemption. So in the Reckoning, they get a message from Grief saying, listen, the Empire has essentially taken over our city because they're upset about you. So if you come back, I'll get rid of the bounty that's on your head. And so the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda go back to Navarro to team up with them to help like beat them up. They pick up Kara on the way to help them out as well, and he also picks up QO and surprisingly IG-11, who he thought was decommissioned but has actually been reprogrammed.
as a
Then,
nanny.
yeah, and then in episode 8, there we get to see Moff Gideon, who shows up and gives a little bit of
Yep.
a speech of like, you think you think you know what you want, but it's important to me, da 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 da, that kind of spiel. And like a huge fight breaks out at the end of episode 7. Baby Yoda is kidnapped by the Zoomer troopers or whatever.
Super troopers.
Yeah, and the Ognog's killed.
Yes. But then right at the beginning of season 8, which is directed by Taika Waititi, by the way, at the beginning of episode 8, IG-11 gets Baby Yoda back,
That was sick.
goes and helps them escape from like the little house that they're stuck in, and then ends up sacrificing himself by walking through a river of lava to destroy them at the ambush. And then Moff Gideon shows up in a TIE fighter, but he gets taken down by the Mandalorian. And then at the end of the episode, we see the Darksaber pierce through the metal of the TIE fighter and Moff Gideon emerge, which was apparently a huge thing for anyone who'd watched Rebels.
Yes. Clone Wars
Clone
and
Wars.
Rebels.
Both of
They're
them.
in
Both of
both
them have the
shows.
Darksaber.
Dave Filoni directs all 3 of those shows, and he loves the Darksaber, so obviously they're in all 3.
Alright, so go for it, Anthony. The season
Okay,
finale of season 1.
This is where I'm gonna shine.
Oh,
Dang it,
boy.
I just died in Smash Brothers. Anyways,
No pressure.
okay. So, yes. So first of all, yeah, he goes back, he gets his gang of merry men, and forms up a little team of all the friends that he formed over the season, which obviously is pretty cool, because they were a pretty cool cast of characters. And then he shows up to beat up the old white hair guy, only to have him mysteriously murdered by other people in the background. And then yeah, Moff Gideon shows up, which was pretty cool. So it was the whole like, oh, he's not the villain, I'm the villain. Um,
Now, I will interrupt you. It's just important to note that anyone who'd watched Breaking Bad already knows how good at being a bad guy the Moff Gideon actor is. So seeing him playing the role of being another bad
Yes.
character would already instinctually like alert people to like, oh, this guy is gonna be good at this role. Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, I'd never seen Breaking Bad, but I knew he was supposed to be a really good actor, and he definitely was. Also, in an interview, he revealed that his character Moff Gideon, he tries to model him after Darth Vader, because the actor in real life is a real Darth Vader fan. Which is true, because you can tell with the all pure black costume.
I don't think he designed that.
doesn't talk all the time, but when he does, it's something really cool, right? Like it's really well thought out, his words.
Yeah.
He's just this kind of like really smart opponent. And again, we go more into that into season 2. But it is important to note though too, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, is his name Moth and his last name Gideon? And no, Moth is actually a rank in the Empire Army.
It's Moth,
And
isn't it? MOF.
Moff.
Yeah.
MOFF.
Anyways, I can't pronounce words. So, but
It's not important. That's
the
good.
rank is fairly common. There was actually like hundreds of them, so it wasn't like a super high rank. Like it was decent enough, but it wasn't like he was the commander of the whole Empire army. Also, a cool fact about that episode, when all the stormtroopers show up, and and you're like, oh, it's just because I think at the first of the episode they reveal like, oh, all we have to do is beat up a couple of stormtroopers in old armor. And then, when Moff Gideon shows up, there's like a whole army of stormtroopers. Those were all fans from a fan club in I forget where it was, in California or wherever it was filmed.
The
Obviously making
stormtroopers were.
yes. So obviously
Ah.
making costumes is very, very expensive, and they didn't really want to have to spend all that time and money making like 100 stormtrooper costumes. So there was a I don't know if it was local as in like within the hour, but in the same state anyways, there's a group of Star Wars cosplayers called the 501st, and uh the direct or the people doing the show anyways called out to them and said, "Hey, would you like to be in the show?" Like they didn't tell them what they were doing or anything, so there wouldn't be any spoilers, but they're like, "Bring your storm trooper costumes and just play stormtroopers in the episode." So they did. And again, fans are very meticulous, so they probably had costumes that were more accurate than probably anything the design team could have came up with. So I thought that was pretty cool too. And they took a there's a picture somewhere on the internet of them all together.
That's
They
cool.
took a big picture at the end of it. Yeah, with all the
Nice.
actors. But anyways, yeah, and then we seen the big reveal. Mandalorian takes his helmet off. Well, the robot does anyways, which was a pretty cool get around because it was like, no one alive can see my face, and the robot's like, I'm not alive. It's like,
Wait, what?
oh,
I
oh,
don't remember
oh.
this moment. What?
You don't remember
Yeah.
it? It's the very
Yeah.
first time we see Pedro Pascal.
I thought that was in season 2. I completely forgot about that.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
So you remember? So Grief, Kara, and Mando are pinned down in a building, and Mando,
It's
I
like
believe,
part of-
gets hit, and he feels like he's gonna die, and the droid IG-11 is like, here, if you take off your mask, I can help you survive. And he's like, I can't take off my mask. I can't let anyone living see me. And IG-11's like, well, I'm not living, so it should be allowed, right? And so
And he's like, oh, I can't argue with that.
so
basically.
he's pointing the gun
yeah,
at
exactly.
IG-11 the whole time, but IG-11 slowly lifts up his helmet, and you see Pedro Pascal for the first time. It was a really cool
Completely forgot
reveal.
that.
Yeah,
Completely forgot
yeah.
that.
It was a good way to do it without taking the mystery. And we could talk more about how it happens in season 2 because I didn't have a problem with it, but maybe there's some of you who found it controversial. But anyways, um, yeah. And then that whole fight was just awesome. Like them hunkered down in the restaurant while they're setting up the big Gatling gun, and then IG-11 shows up with Baby Yoda in tow, and it always disturbs me how Baby Yoda smiles while people are being murdered. But anyways,
Yes, kill them, kill them.
he's just driving around, taking them out, and then and there's a whole funny scene between the two speeder troopers, where like Baby Yoda bites the one. That was always funny.
Oh, I love that.
Those
I'm gonna
actors
go back and
wasn't
watch
one of
this
them
episode.
wasn't one of them like one of the directors or something? There's an
I don't know about that.
there's an Easter egg with that, and I forget how it goes, but I think one of them was, or both of them were like actual like the directors of the show. They just got they just put themselves in. But
Well,
anyways,
the cool thing about The Mandalorian is that they don't have consistent directors. So
yes,
Peyton Reed
there's
has
the
directed a couple.
there's
Bryce
the
Dallas
overall
Howard.
there's the overall director. Like there is one guy that kind of controls them all, which is Dave Filoni. But
I thought that was John Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been working together as executive producers.
yes,
But the overall director changes episode by episode.
yeah, yeah, and that's very common for TV shows.
Hmm.
Um,
Even The
but
Office
anyways,
did that.
yep.
But no, we're not starting a discussion about The Office. That's not what's happening.
Chris, what are you doing? Get that out of here.
I'm
But
not.
anyways, uh, but yeah, I don't know. The final two episodes are obviously the most you can say about it. You know, it's pretty cool. He got using his jetpack. Unfortunately, all of his Mandalorian friends were killed, or at least a lot of them, anyways. We don't know if all of them died, but a lot of
Not
them
in
did.
season one. It doesn't show that. Or
Well, it
is it?
shows
Is
it
it?
shows the
Yeah, it
lady
is season
smelting all
one
the
where
armor,
the armorer does her
is smelting it
awesome
all,
fight.
and she has a pretty cool scene too, where she
Yeah.
takes out some stormtroopers. And then I love the parts, and they did it in season 2 too. When people are smacking them, you just see like pieces of like white, plastic or whatever the suits are made out of,
Yeah.
flying apart. That's pretty cool. I like that attention to detail because you would imagine their helmets would shatter getting smacked to the side of the head with a hammer made of Beskar. But
Hammer
anyways,
mate.
well, I'm guessing it's made of Beskar. Maybe it's not, but I think she was
No, that would
smacking
make
them.
sense for her.
But anyways, yeah, so that was all pretty cool. And then I do like when they finally take out the TIE fighter at the end. They kind of have their like celebratory, haha, my friends, we've won. Like the what's his face there, the guild master.
Yeah.
And and IG-11 was a cool redemption arc because Mando hated droids because they reveal his home got destroyed by droids in the Clone Wars. So he always kind of had a distaste for them.
Yeah.
But then, to the point where he believes that droids are only meant for killing. But then IG-88, I want to say 88, but that was the guy from the fourth or fifth movie, whenever. But 11, he kind of redeems droids in Mando's eyes, so that was pretty cool. And the voice actor was pretty good too. I thought he played.
Taika Waititi.
He he played an emotionless character in a way that made you feel like he had emotion. It was really well done, I thought.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know whoever the voice actor is.
Yeah, Taika
I'm not good with
Waititi
names.
was the one who was IG-11.
Now, fans were speculating that another model of that same robot might show up in season 2. Spoilers, it didn't, but they could have him back at some point. He did hint that if they wanted him back, he would be back. So, but anyways, yeah. So obviously what got everybody revved up for season 2 then was at the very end of the episode, you see a flash of light, and then at first I didn't know what was going on, but then when it started cutting around in a circle, I was like, "There's no frigging way!" And then next thing he comes out with the Dark Star Saber, which is a pretty big deal in the Star Wars universe. It was first introduced in the Clone Wars. It was a lightsaber built by the one and only Mandalorian Jedi, who, when he died, the Jedi hid the saber inside the Jedi Temple. But then, I think 100 or so years before the Clone Wars, a team of Mandalorians snuck into the temple and stole it back because they believed it only had they only had the right to possess it, and it kind of symbolizes it symbolizes leadership in the Mandalorian culture. So anyone who holds on to it is considered the leader. But which but anyways, we'll get into that in season 2. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a pretty cool. It's supposed to. So now a lot of people may question, like, why would a guy who's not a Jedi be able to use the lightsaber? that well, because only a Jedi can fully use a lightsaber to its full capabilities. But apparently, the Darkstar saber doesn't have that drawback. Even even someone who's not a Jedi can stand up to a Jedi with the Darkstar saber. Apparently, and I'm not sure how true this is, but apparently, when the Darkstar saber comes in contact with a real lightsaber, with another lightsaber, it makes the other lightsaber feel a lot heavier. So it again that it gives, even if you're not a Jedi, it gives you a bit of an advantage in a fight against a real Jedi. So yes, it's a pretty epic item in Star Wars lore, and everybody was very excited to see it come into live action. Also, it's kind of differently shaped. It kind of looks like a long carving knife
Yeah.
too.
Well, it
Which
looks
is
like an
pretty
actual
cool.
sword,
Yeah,
not just like a
cool.
round beam.
Its hilt is very interesting too. It has a very square design.
Just like the blade.
Yes, so that's always cool to see too when a lightsaber doesn't have the typical blade. But anyways, that's all I will say for now.
Chris, you're up.
That's hard to follow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Follow.
the only things I can think of that would be different, really, is from an engineering perspective. There were two things.
Okay,
First off, and this is really kind of stupid, I got really excited when the TIE fighter landed.
that's cool.
Purely because you got to actually see how the heck a TIE fighter actually lands anywhere.
Apparently
But
that
did
was
it-
supposed to be some new design of TIE Fighter too.
Probably.
Like the ones
Did
you
it
see in
land,
the
though? Didn't it crash?
Well, yeah, in the
or
Clone
did
Wars,
it
they
land
don't
at a
land that
different
way.
time?
They just hit on the ground.
no, the
But that or
Clone
not
Wars
Clone
had
Wars,
something
Rebels.
different.
Sorry, Rebels. But that never really made sense to me. So I liked how they did that. That was kind of cool. And then the assassin droid, and I should have talked about this honestly in episode 1
Yep.
when we first see him fight. But so as you said, we've seen one of those droids in the original series, and I always thought they just looked super weird. And why are they designed that way? Like it's literally a spindle with a bunch of arms. And so I
Yeah,
always wondered how that would help, other than being like a low profile, so a smaller target. But they did a really cool. They had a really cool way of integrating that into combat, and I'm about to use up all the time because of talking. Hold on 1 second.
10 seconds. 10, 9.
Come on, Chris.
Hush.
You and Caleb, Chris, and Caleb.
There, I had 3 seconds to spare. And so the fact that he would basically just like his body would spin at all these different levels, so he could shoot basically anywhere at any time, was a really cool way that they actually integrated that into combat.
yeah. Like I said, there was another one of those droids in the movie, but I don't think they ever showed him in actual like combat or.
Oh no,
anything.
he was just one of the other bounty hunters that you see on the Star Destroyer with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They
So
had him, the
so that was cool.
or shoot, can't remember his name now.
The
the
one
lizard
from the movie
guy.
was 88.
No, him, and then the lizard person.
Bosk.
There's one
Oh,
other one that I don't remember.
Yeah,
anything
what was
about.
his name?
Bosk.
I should remember.
Trandoshan is the species. That's what I was thinking.
Bosk.
Yeah, Bosk.
Bosk was the name of the lizard bounty
Yeah,
hunter.
he's right. He's right.
I thought Bosk was the one in the Old Republic online game. Is that not true?
It might be Trask.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm sure
Trask
people
is in
could,
my mind,
I'm
but
sure
I
that
could be wrong.
different people could be named the same name.
No, never.
The only
One person. Just kidding.
the only reason I remember his name is Bosk is because of Robot Chicken and their renditions of the original series, and there's a couple bounty hunters going up an elevator, and one guy is like, "How about you, buddy? What you do?" And Bosk is like just visioning himself doing like an Indiana Jones style thing over the weekend. He's like, nothing much, but it like specifically says that his name is Bosk. So that's how I know that. I'm not.
Interesting. We already knew that. So those were all pretty cool. I kind of get where they were going with like killing off the who was the big bad the rest of the season, because they're just kind of slowly, moving him into the bigger world. So to do that, right, you got to move up from the small pond, so to speak, with the small fish. You
Yeah.
got to introduce the big fish to put him into that. So I think they're doing actually a really good job of doing that piece by piece, and not just like, oh, he's a little bounty hunter that does a few things and has this baby Yoda, and then all of a sudden he's the center of the universe and has to fight off all the bad guys and stuff like that. So I did appreciate how they did that. I didn't find Moff Gideon to be all that intimidating, personally.
Even with the Darksaber?
Even
Yeah.
with the Darksaber.
Wow. Heartless.
But I always also wondered, like, where the heck did he get it? And I'm sure that's hopefully going to be explained at some point. But
Season
I'm
2,
sure
they
when
kind of
such
talk
a
about
When they
it.
random
took over-
person to have it.
Yeah, I'm sure when they destroyed Mandalore, they probably stole it.
Well, probably, but why would a low-level Moff have it?
Well, there was lots of wars where people stole stuff from the conquered
Probably.
people and never told their army.
Explains it.
Not
Yeah,
entirely.
we can get more into that in season 2.
But yeah, we can definitely.
Yeah, it does.
So who's next? Caleb?
Yeah, Caleb, you're up next.
Can't follow anything that you guys have just done.
What? Nothing?
What was your
Nothing.
favorite part of those 2 episodes
The last 2 episodes?
of season 1?
Yeah, no. The Darksaber was cool because that's in the Old Republic.
Is it?
Sure. Yeah,
Wait, the Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic?
the Old Republic era has a Darksaber in it.
Yeah,
So
I didn't get that far.
you beat the game, Chris.
Are you talking Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic? There's a big difference.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay. Yes, I did beat that game. I don't remember a Darksaber.
It was a Darksaber. Shoot.
Obviously, it wasn't that memorable to me.
I feel like Caleb forgot to play the game.
Yeah. Oh no, he clicked it with 1 second left. Well, not even.
For me. But I got the
Founded.
getting to beat that. Scary, really.
Yay! I'm not the only one.
Comical.
Yeah, I don't know. He seemed more like a boss who was trying to be intimidating and scary, but really wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have that big of a role in the show. Like, he was just shown to be the one behind wanting Baby Yoda. And then he was also shown to have a lot of resources, and then at the end, that he has the Darksaber. So yeah, there wasn't really opportunity for him to be too intimidating. But at the same time, we also see that this guy clearly has the resources to operate underneath the nose of the New Republic without really being too afraid of them.
Well, sure, but what I mean is, so he, like when you see Darth Vader for the very first time in Episode 4,
Yeah.
he's just straight up intimidating. He's not saying anything. He's just walking. And the music, but he's just straight up intimidating. And like, the problem I have with Moff Gideon is the same problem I had with Kylo Ren. He's just not intimidating. Like, they try to make him intimidating, but he's not. So he's a poser. But
Chris is trying
that's
to
kind
act
of brutal.
big and tough and strong.
Well, I am big, but tough and strong, I don't know about.
You're on
But that's just my
ready, apparently.
because I'm researching stuff. Oh crap! I got distracted. Sorry, guys. Oh no, AJ, you're under attack.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thanks for letting me know before I knew.
Because I have guys sitting right next to your scouts that were attacked, and I happen to be looking at them. So, anyways, that's enough of my ranting on the lack of intimidation factor.
That one season was where he got the jetpack.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yes, right at the end, yeah.
Which that was a cool way that he took out the TIE fighter with that. That was cool.
Alright, Daniel, your thoughts on the season finale of season 1.
Well, you see, what I really enjoyed was most definitely the humor that was actually thrown into the end. The two stormtroopers actually having a good laugh made the last episode pretty good.
Oh, when they're just sitting at the front gate.
Yeah, when they're just joking around and they get bit. Pretty awesome.
Don't they also like try to shoot something and they just can't hit it?
I think it's some kind of can or something.
Yeah, and just neither of them can hit it for anything.
Yeah. So making fun of themselves, that was pretty awesome. I thought the Darksaber that came out was pretty dope. But then there was something else. There was something else in the final. I thought, yo, this is good. I like it. Oh, something that caught me off guard was the fact that the dude actually died, and there was no coming back from him. So.
Which one?
Oh, the Ugnut?
The guy that rode the tadpoles.
Cool!
Yeah, I got.
Rode the tadpoles. Those are mean tadpoles.
They did.
He rode the tadpoles. He rode. Yeah. So.
What made you think that he would come back, though?
Hey.
Why would you think that he would come back? It's Star Wars, not an anime.
Well, here's what I was thinking. Okay, he was right next to the ship where the battle droid was.
True.
His battle droid was there with the idea of protecting things, and yet the battle droid didn't even come out and do anything. The frick?
Yeah, the battle droid was a little late. He went off on him, though. Later.
Yeah. I would say, for me, the last 2 episodes is kind of what convinced me that I could thoroughly enjoy The Mandalorian. Like Daniel, I wanted a team-up, and the fact that they gave us a team-up definitely sold me on the idea. And then Taika Waititi's directing the season finale where he made the stormtroopers funny. That was great. I've always found that humor in the Star Wars movies is kind of what like makes it worth watching again. Like I'm fine with drama and strong storytelling, but if there's no humor, I'm not likely to watch it like a second time. And so having the humor made it so I was like, yeah, okay, I can continue going on in this series, or I could rewatch this season if I have nothing else to do. IG-11's sacrifice did tick me off though. Like I wanted him to be around for season 2 to kind of just as a babysitter for Baby Yoda while Mando was off doing different things. So for him to like die in a blazing of glory is like, opportunity, come on. But I didn't know much about the Darksaber, so when it showed up, I was like, oh. I mean, I guess it makes sense if Nick Fury has a little torch that can cut through concrete, why wouldn't other people in the Star Wars universe have equipment that can cut through stuff? So it didn't mean anything to me until season 2, or when I was talking to Anthony. He's like, that was the Darksaber. It's like, oh, cool, okay. But overall,
so it was just a fancy knife to you?
Yeah, overall, season 1 ended really well. I would have been disappointed if they had killed Baby Yoda, and I will admit, I saw there as a possibility of them killing Baby Yoda, just because the show is called The Mandalorian, and so having him like essentially doing something completely different for season 2 wouldn't have surprised me, but the fact that they decided to keep Baby Yoda alive, oh, that was great. I appreciated that they were able to save him quickly. Although I have to be honest, I did laugh when the stormtrooper hit him. So But overall, season 1 of The Mandalorian I found was enough to get me to come back for season 2, which I'm really glad that I came back for season 2. So, how about now we just give a quick little overall. Anthony, out of 10, how would you rate season 1 of The Mandalorian?
Again, I don't remember it enough. I'd have to watch through it to give it more accurate. But just to be safe, I'll say I'll say 7.
Okay, it's a decent
Because
score.
again, I'd have to watch through it. I could be totally. I could say, I could probably watch through it and be like, oh, I'm an idiot for rating it that. Um, but yeah, I obviously 7. I know in some gamer reviews, 7 means it was absolutely horrible and I never played again. But 7 for me is like it was decent. It was really good. I really enjoyed some parts. I was not bored with it whatsoever. I would gladly watch it again. I would gladly tell people to watch it. And but there was obviously room for improvement.
Yeah. So then, in comparison to the originals, prequels, and sequels, where would you feel like it fits better into like the mood of it?
Where does it fit in better as a mood?
Yeah. So I felt like each trilogy had its own kind of feel to it. The prequels were a little more combat focused. The sequels was a little more nostalgia focused, and the originals was more focused on story.
Um, I don't know. Like, uh, obviously there was combat. I wouldn't say the story's good. It's not super deep or anything like that, but it's definitely a decent enough story. I don't know where I'd put it. It kind of has a little bit of all the worlds, I feel.
Hmm. So a good blend of the Star Wars trilogies.
Yeah, yeah, and we can go into it more in season 2, but like season 2 blends a little more, I felt, into the lore of Star Wars, but season 1 definitely it was very new fan friendly, if that makes any sense. Like it was
Ah.
very good for new fans, I felt, because they didn't
You didn't have to have
be...
background to understand it.
Yes, yeah.
All right, Chris.
8. 8 out of 10. Because for the most part, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I loved the creatures when they showed up. Wish there were more in the first season. The only reason I don't give it a higher score is because one, the overall kind of Western style was a little bit jarring at first. It took me a little while to get used to it. And then the only other one is a little disappointed with the ending of the season, just because it was built up a bit, or it was built up pretty heavily, and then it just wasn't quite what I was expecting, and it left a lot of questions. Obviously not enough to make me not want to watch the next one, but
Yeah.
So yeah, 8 out of 10.
And then in comparison to the three trilogies?
Hold on, let me finish my turn. Comparison to the 3 movies.
Trilogies.
Thank you, 3 trilogies. It felt different to me than any of the movie trilogies because it was much story-based and not nearly as combat-based, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, so there was combat, but it's not like it was blown up as the main thing. It was a lot more interaction between characters. There was more figuring out, where different characters fit in the hierarchy or how they interact with each other, and the different roles that they each have, and less about here's side A, here's side B, and they're gonna fight now, type of thing. So,
Yep.
yeah, a little more on the drama side, I guess, would be the best way to say it.
All right, Caleb.
I would probably put it at a 7. Maybe 6.97.
Okay.
But I got put off by the Western theme as well. So, story-wise, I really liked it. It's so weird to be watching Star Wars, but a Western at the same time. Like
Yeah.
the two don't make for me.
Didn't seem like Star Wars, really.
No, I honestly don't know if I still view it as Star Wars. I still think of it as Western.
Even
Even
after
after
season
season
2?
Took it
We
into
haven't
later, but
yet. We're still on season 1.
okay.
So you don't really see season 1 as a Star Wars movie,
No,
or in okay.
Like- yeah. So, and I like the prequels way more because that's actually like Star Wars for me.
Hmm.
And I ran out of time.
I know that was one.
Daniel.
If I can just say something for a second.
1 second.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Sudeikis? He's the guy who punched Baby Yoda out of the two stormtroopers. So
Jason
I found that
Sudeikis.
out. Anyways,
Not that very long.
but continue.
Go ahead, Daniel. Your rating?
I'll probably rate it an 8 because I didn't really care that it was a Western. I thought, hey,
Gotta
again,
shoot
far
no bad.
away, there's a whole host of people. So there can be a whole host of styles. There's no need for one style to be pervasive among the entire galaxy. Maybe this guy is Western, so kudos to him. And then the fact that he was going out on adventures, being a bounty hunter, pretty dope. I got stuck with a little brat.
Whoa! Oh, brat!
Yeah, Baby Yoda's,
You take that back.
Well, they just killed an entire species in season 2.
exactly.
No, it's not the entire species. It's just that species line. People blow that out of proportion.
Oh, guys, this is next season.
Yeah, so I've already watched
I'd
it
like
twice,
to do that.
I think. Compared to the original trilogies, well, I liked it a lot better. The prequels, a little bit slow. Story is a little bit meh. The original, the fighting is a little bit lame. Story is a little bit
Incestuous.
meh. And the last trilogy, I can't even talk about the last trilogy because that is just a rant of anger and hatred towards everybody involved except Ben Spoto. Ben Spoto can go get bigger pecs and I'll be happier.
So what I heard from that is you just don't like Star Wars.
You know, overall, I would rank Star Wars 6. 6 out of 10. Except the last trilogy. The last trilogy can go do something to itself.
Oh boy.
Alright, so
AJ, your
I
turn.
would give the rating of season 1, probably I'd give it a 7. I loved the creature designs. I did like the characters that kept returning. I liked them. But I did not feel like I was getting as much out of it as like nerds would. And so that to me told me that I should have, like, I needed to do research after every episode, which kind of drags the score down. In regards to the original trilogies, I would put it above episodes 4 through 9. I would put it on almost par with the prequels. I like the prequels just because I felt like they were action-packed. There were times where I agree with Daniel, they could be pretty slow. But the Phantom Menace with Darth Maul was just, like, that to me is the iconic villain of the Star Wars trilogy, more so than Darth Vader. I know, heresy, but like Darth Vader versus Darth Maul, I would pick Darth Maul to be that character any day. However, in regards to like the side stories, so Solo and Rogue One, I felt like it fit pretty good into Rogue One, just with the intergalactic travel, the kind of everything kind of falling apart, a ragtag group of people that don't really know each other but end up having to work together. So I would say season one felt as close to Rogue One as to anything else in the Star Wars universe, and for that I did really like it. I enjoyed season one enough to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, and on that note,